Hello and welcome back to my video game review of the video game called Ghosts of Tsushima. I think this game is one of the most overrated, overhyped games that I've never played, and I really don't understand why so many people are raving on about it as if it's the best game ever.
You serious?
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a video by the channel known as Hiding in My Room. The video we're going to be taking a look at by him is called Ghost of Tsushima is a Terrible Video Game. When I got this video, my recommendation, I was actually thinking that this was a video just for clout, kind of like how Young Defiant makes videos that are kind of just made to get attention. I thought that's what this video was, but then I watched the video and honestly, he seems pretty serious about the points that he is making. Not to mention that he hasn't even played this damn game. By the way, if you have a PlayStation 4 and you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, I definitely recommend playing it. I think it is in the running for a Game of the Year nomination, or hell, even winning the award altogether. I really hope that this game eventually comes to PC because I kind of want more people to experience this masterpiece of a title. But that's besides the point, because this guy does not think the same way that I do. And it seems that he's also in the minority, because if you look at that like to dislike ratio, ooh, it's not looking so hot for this man. But yeah, let's just hop it into the video.
Hello and welcome back to my video game review of the video game called Ghosts of Tsushima. I think this game is one of the most overrated, overhyped games that I've never played, and I really don't understand why so many people are raving on about it as if it's the best game ever.
Now, I'm not exactly a so-called game reviewer myself, but I mean, I think that you actually have to play a game to actually understand why the game is so great. Simply watching some trailers or some gameplay reveals isn't exactly going to do it justice for you, buddy. So I'm just going to tell you right now, maybe if you played the game, you would understand why the game is so great, but I don't know. That's maybe just me.
So if I had to describe this game, I would describe it as The Witcher 3 if Japan vomited all over it. I swear it looks just like The Witcher 3 if someone made some kind of Japanese samurai mod skin for it.
Now I'm probably going to catch a lot of shit for this, but I've never played The Witcher 3.
You what?
I've heard that it's like a masterpiece, just like how I feel about Ghost of Tsushima. I've heard that it is an amazing game. I personally just never played it, so I can't really comment on if this guy is telling the truth, if this just is like a ripoff or reskin of Witcher 3. I doubt that it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy's still pulling shit out of his ass. But as people who have played Witcher 3, tell me in the comment section below if this guy is accurate or not.
I can just imagine the development team sitting around a table thinking about what kind of game to make next, and then one of them goes, "Hey, let's make a ripoff of Witcher 3, but set in Japan with samurais." And then they all start nodding, going, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that." So my first complaint with this game is the name of the game is kind of stupid, I think. Okay, so the first half of the name is pretty cool. Ghosts of. Anything with the word ghosts in sounds pretty cool, like Ghost Recon or Ghost in the Shell. But Tsushima just sounds kind of lame. I don't think anyone even knows where Tsushima is. I bet no one's even heard of Tsushima, even if you know a lot about Japan like I do.
So now this guy is ranting on the title of the game, okay? Well, Ghost of is referring to the main character, Jin Sakai, ditching the ways of the samurai in ways of the ghost, using more stealthy-like tactics, less honorable ways of combat. And Tsushima is actually historically accurate, so I don't know what your point is there, saying that not a lot of people understand it. Well, I mean, I understand it a little bit more now. I've learned a bit from it, actually. And if you still don't believe me, since you haven't played the damn game, probably never will for whatever reason, because I went into his comment section, some people have said he doesn't even own a PlayStation, so he can't even play the game to begin with. But that's besides the point. A simple Google search, just simply asking, was there a Mongol invasion on Tsushima? And yeah, sure, it's a Wikipedia page, but I'm pretty sure that you can look it up on YouTube as well, still saying that there was in fact an invasion of Tsushima.
I'd be very surprised if you know where Tsushima is. Why didn't they just use some kind of recognizable nameplate like Kyoto? Ghosts of Kyoto. It's also kind of cumbersome to pronounce. As someone who speaks Japanese fluently, obviously I can pronounce it perfectly. But if you don't know Japanese, then you might be confused. Is it Tsushima? Is it Tsushima? Do you pronounce the T? Is it a silent T? Also, it kind of sounds like sushi with a ma on the end.
Whoa, you can speak fluent Japanese. That's cool. I mean, Tsushima is not that hard to pronounce. I don't see what the deal is. I mean, simply looking at it, sure, you could probably have a bit of trouble with it, but you hear the word once, and it's okay. That's cool. I know the name Tsushima, and it's not that hard to pronounce. I'm sorry that your point isn't exactly valid here.
So the graphics of this game are not up to my standards. Okay, it does look very colourful and pretty sometimes, but when I look out the window of my room, I still think that real life looks much better. I don't want to look at a game and then look outside and then still be thinking that the real world looks better. So when it comes to graphical fidelity, I would have to give this game a 2.9 out of 10.
Okay, no shit. Okay, cool. There's not ever going to be a video game, at least on this generation of consoles, that's going to look photorealistic. I'm sorry, but this is probably the best looking game that I've ever played. The graphics are absolutely amazing. It is beautiful to look at. I don't get what your point is. It sounds like I'm just a fucking PlayStation fanboy right now. I don't mean to sound like that because I don't want to be a PlayStation fanboy, but holy shit. This guy is just pulling shit out of his ass, saying that it doesn't look like real life.
My second problem with this game is the voice acting. Now, if you're a big One Piece fan like I used to be, then you'll instantly recognize that the main character is voiced by the same voice actor that voiced the character in One Piece called Zoro. And it just kind of ruins the whole experience when every time he speaks, all you can think of is that green-haired Zoro character from One Piece. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a very good actor. His voice sounds very cool and manly and deep and epic. But it's too recognizable as Zoro. You hear that voice and you instantly think One Piece. I just feel like it ruins the immersion a little bit every time he speaks. I wish they would have just gotten some less famous voice actor, some unknown voice actor who just has like a normal voice.
Okay, this point is also extremely dumb, because with your logic, then that means that Hollywood actors would only be able to play one role. That's like saying, oh, Chris Evans can't be in any more roles because he's just known for Captain America, and when I see him in other roles, I only see him as Captain America. Or, oh my god, I see Mark Hamill voice acting the Joker. Man, well, I just hear Luke Skywalker, man. No, buddy, that's not how it works. Any character can be voiced by any actor if they fit the role.
My next problem with the game is the armor of the main character. You may have noticed he has this massive square metal plate strapped to his right shoulder, and it just looks really inconvenient. I can't stop thinking about how uncomfortable it must be to wear. It just doesn't look very practical. Wouldn't the corners of the square metal plates keep hitting you in the face every time you turned your head or you moved your shoulder around a bit? Also, the metal shoulder thing never even comes into some kind of gameplay mechanic when you're fighting. The enemy's blades never hit the square metal plate thing and bounce off. It would have been more interesting if you could use the shoulder plate as some kind of blocking mechanism or defense mechanism. But I guess it's just there as like a visual thing because I suppose the game artist, character design artist, thought it looked cool.
You're a fucking idiot.
You do realize that this is the starting armor of the game, right? You do understand that you can customize the character as the game goes on? I don't even think you have to play the game to understand that. It seems like just a basic component of a video game. Your character's not always going to look the same throughout the whole entire game. That's like saying, oh man, the Spider-Man suit looks kind of shit. You know, it's all ripped up. You know, it doesn't look good. You know, man, this suit really does suck. They obviously are going to make it so you can change your character's look as the game progresses.
Now, let's move on to the gameplay. So, the gameplay does not look interesting at all. If you've played Assassin's Creed or Jedi The Last Order or The Witcher 3 or any of those games where it's third person and the enemies gather around you and then take turns to swing at you, and then you've got to parry or counter, or you've got fast attacks, heavy attacks, and then rolling side to side. You know those type of games? They're all pretty much the same, and Ghost of Tsushima is no different. And it doesn't really do anything new or original or unique.
Oh yes, the game does nothing different at all. Man, I loved the part in Jedi Fallen Order where I did a standoff against 5 different stormtroopers and cut them all down like they were nothing. Or even better, I loved the part in Jedi Fallen Order where I entered the Berserker stance and just did a shit ton of damage to Darth Vader and the Ninth Sister. Yeah, no, definitely. I totally remember that part from Jedi Fallen Order.
And wasn't it just a year ago when this other Japanese hack and slash kind of RPG was released? It was called Sekiro. I never played that either because it looked kind of boring. But it feels like it's only been a year or something, and we already have a new AAA Japanese samurai game.
But do I even need to touch on this? This man just said that Sekiro is the same as Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think I need to touch on it. You guys can figure that out on your own. It's not that hard.
Starting to feel like the whole Japanese samurai genre is getting a little bit oversaturated. Remember about 10 or 15 years ago when we had so many World War II video games, shooters, and there was like 10 different World War II games being released every year. I feel like that's what's happening with the whole Japanese samurai genre, and we're going to get to a point where the market is just going to be so oversaturated and people are going to get fed up with it. I think the last time I played a Japanese ninja slash samurai kind of third-person action game was when I was a teenager. I don't know if you remember this game called Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox. That was the last one, and I still think that game looks way more fun than this Ghost of Tsushima game. In Ninja Gaiden, you had all these different weapons you could play with, and there was decapitation, and it was way more bloody and more action-oriented. You could do platforming and do cool things like that. In Ghost of Tsushima, it's just kind of slow-paced and dull. I guess it's supposed to be realistic.
Wow, this Ninja Gaiden game sounds pretty fucking fun. I wish I had played it, because I did have an original Xbox when I was a kid. But here's the thing. Ghost of Tsushima does have most, if not all of those things. This guy only thinks that the katana is Jin's only weapon. It's not. It's not his only weapon. You have the short bow, or sorry, the half bow, sorry. So you have the half bow, the long bow, you have your kunai, your smoke bombs, your sticky bombs, you have your different types of arrows, you have your different types of poison darts, you have your way of the flame where you can basically turn your fucking katana into a medieval era lightsaber. And yeah, you have a lot more than just your katana, buddy. There's not to mention, I'm not even going to get into the different stances, different combos, different way to engage different opponents. There are so many ways to play in this game. I'm pretty sure nearly everyone plays this game differently. There are probably going to be some similarities between every single player, but there's always going to be maybe one or two people that are going to be like, well, I play stealthy or I play head-on.
Something else I noticed about Ghost of Tsushima is there's no ragdoll physics. One of the best things about video games, one of the most entertaining things, is ragdoll. When you fight an enemy and their body flops all over the place and they fall over in funny ways. That's one of my favorite things about fighting people in video games. But in Ghost of Tsushima, when you've killed someone, they just do like this pre-made animation, death animation that's always the same. Limbs just kind of stick up into the air instead of flopping down onto the surface or the floor realistically.
Okay, I will admit ragdolls are fucking hilarious, but I don't really think that they really would work in this game. This game's supposed to be a more realistic take on a samurai type game. Like I said, ragdolls are absolutely hilarious when they happen, but I kind of like the more gritty death animations in this game more. This point right here is kind of just preference. I'm not gonna like roast his shit too hard on this one, because yeah, I guess it would be kind of funny to have ragdolls, but personally I feel like this game is made to be a more dark and realistic type game more than anything else. So,
and I feel like there should be decapitation. When you've got a massive samurai sword, there really should be no question about it. Arms and legs should be coming off. But they don't, and they always just do this boring, same old death animation every time. It's just not a very brutal looking game, and it should be, because I'm pretty sure back when samurai used to fight each other, I'm pretty sure the fighting was bloody and gory and gruesome. And if it's supposed to be a realistic game, well, it's not very realistic if there's no decapitation.
Well, my kind sir, you saying that the game isn't brutal enough shows me that you haven't even witnessed the likes of this scene right here. Or even this scene. Both of these scenes, there is a decapitation, and on the second scene, you can see that these guys right here are getting poisoned and choking on their own blood. So don't come at me with this, oh, this game isn't bloody and gory enough. Go play Mortal Kombat then, dude, because Mortal Kombat limbs fly off like they're Mr. Potato Head limbs, alright? I don't think that in combat they're just attempting to chop limbs off all the time. It's not Mortal Kombat. They're not going to constantly be getting cut in half. I think this game has the perfect amount of brutality in it.
Even the horse riding mechanic, because yeah, obviously there's going to be horse riding in an open world game. Every single one of these games, like The Witcher, Skyrim, Zelda, they always have some stupid horse, and then you have to whistle, and then it just magically appears out of nowhere. Guess what? Ghost of Tsushima also has the exact same thing, where you whistle and a horse comes out of nowhere. You got to ride here, you got to ride there, there's fast travel, you've got a big open world. It just sounds so boring. Like, nothing new. There's nothing new about this game that hasn't already been done a bazillion times before.
Well, I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it? I mean, the whole horse whistling, sure, it is overused, but honestly, there's really no good alternative that would be better to use. Because if you did change it to make a little slower, like, I don't know, maybe walking to your horse's last location or something, that would make it even worse. Because the whole whistling is supposed to bring your horse towards you, to make it so you can, I don't know, maybe get to your location quicker, because, you know, there aren't any cars in this time period, so obviously they got to use horses. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to wait 30 years for my horse to arrive to me just because it's not realistic. I'd rather have this whole whistling system where it could just teleport to me. Sure, it's a little goofy at times. There's so many times where I would just kind of cheat the game, take shortcuts. I'll just jump off of a cliff, take a little bit of fall damage, and then get my horse back to me. Sure, maybe that's not exactly realistic, but it's just gameplay convenient. It makes the game a lot more fun and convenient for me, so therefore I enjoy it a lot more.
Also, the story looks really dull. I don't even know what the story is about. Apparently there's Mongols and they've invaded Japan. You gotta fight the Mongols, and there's people who need to be rescued. I don't even know what the story is, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no, the story fucking sucked, you know, just I did not like any of the characters, you know, any of the storylines, you know, it was all terrible. Totally not Game of the Year worthy. You know, it was just the gameplay I liked, you know. That's why I think it's Game of the Year worthy. It's not because I cared about characters like Yuna or Master Ishikawa or fucking any of the other memorable characters like Kenji. No. I don't care about any of those characters. They're all terrible. I also don't care about, you know, the historical event that it was based on, you know, the invasion of Japan, the Mongols' invasion on Japan.
There's also lots of side quests to do because, of course, there are. It's an RPG. But the side quests are just, you know, stuff you would expect. Kill 10 of these people, sneak into some base and steal something without being spotted. Escort someone out of the village, protect some kind of thing from being attacked. It's all just same old stuff, same old video game tropes.
I'm sorry to, you know, insult your intelligence here there, buddy, but I want you to tell me what mission it was when you defended something from a horde of enemies like it was a fucking Destiny quest. The side quests were nearly as good as the main quests themselves. Sure, some objectives repeated themselves, but that's because they're side quests. But the side quests that were good, they were great. I loved nearly all the side quests that I played, besides this one where you had to, like, hunt down a traitor in a village. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was in the middle of Act 3. But you had to, like, look for this one guy, and it was, like, not specific in the slightest. I literally was walking around the whole village for, like, 10 minutes trying to look for this dude. So that's the point. I'm getting way off track here. But the point is that these side quests were all good. They all had their own storylines. It wasn't just save person or defend place. They all had their own story, and you even cared for the people that you saved because you're their leader. You care for them. You want to protect everyone that is in those missions. And even when they die, I still felt a little guilty because, well, you know, I'm supposed to be leading these people and they're dying. So you kind of relate to Jin in that aspect. The side quests are nearly as good as the main quest. Don't at me.
Anyway, I hope you found my review helpful. In conclusion, I would give this game a 2.8 out of 10. I would not recommend. I'm sorry, but I'm just not impressed at all, and I would not recommend you buying this game.
This guy is such a greedy douchebag. He literally made the last 2 minutes of his video just complete silence while a backwards screen of the cutscene plays. And he literally just lets that play until his video reaches 10 minutes, and then he ends the video. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Sorry if this video was extremely long. With a video of this length that I just reacted to, it's kind of hard to make it like a 5-minute video like some of my other videos have been recently. But I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. This is probably the most consistent I've uploaded in a while, so I hope that you guys have been enjoying the content that I've been putting out, even if you haven't agreed with some of my opinions with like the Call of Duty Cold War stuff. But I'm not gonna say that I'm back to being consistent, because I'm probably not. But I still hope that you guys enjoyed anyway. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Goodbye.